Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Andre Zeffarino and I'm a professional videographer and photographer. And on this channel, I share the things I wish I knew when I was just starting out. So if you are in the beginning of your career or simply thinking about starting one, then do consider subscribing. In today's video, we are diving into why having a proper wedding film workflow is crucial. So I'll be giving you my step-by-step guide in order to eliminate most of the common challenges. Plus, I'll even sprinkle in some tips and tricks to help you along the way. So to be completely transparent with you, I'm also quite new to the wedding film industry. But in just 2 years, I've managed to cut the time that it takes me to complete a wedding film by 40%. So if you're just starting out, or if you're just looking to refine your workflow, I'm sure you'll find something interesting here. But that's enough of waffling. Let's kick things off with the pre-production process, because this will be the foundation on where you will build your wedding film. And that process starts with a free video consultation call. And in my opinion, this is the most important part of the whole process. I always offer my couples anywhere between 1 to 3 consultation calls. And this not only ensures that we get to know each other, but also that we are on the same page when it comes to the final vision for the wedding film. This normally translates into 1 call before the booking, 1 just after the booking, and 1 a few weeks before their wedding to ensure that everything is in place properly. But going back to that pre-production process, once the booking is done, your next step is to contact all the vendors. This includes caterers, photographers, DJs, and probably most importantly, the venue. I always make sure that I can get a visit in so I can have a look around, and if for some reason this is not possible, then I'll always ask for a brochure and have a quick look on Google Street, because this will give you an idea of what the place looks like, where it's set, and what kind of shots you can get within it. Once I've got all the information I need collected, I then start the storyboarding process. This is just a method where I gathered some images, some ideas that I got from the videos that the couple shared with me to create a visualization of what their wedding film is going to possibly look like. Once that is done, it's time to prepare the equipment. I always suggest having a strict checklist so that you know what you're taking, you know what you need to charge, so that you don't miss on anything during the day. And on top of that, that also reassures yourself that you've got all that you need and that you can go into the wedding day feeling confident. And of course, if you are interested in any of those documents, such as the questionnaires I sent to the couples prior to the booking, or the equipment checklist, or even the storyboard, then do leave me a comment below and I'll send those across to you. But now with the pre-production segment out of the way, how do you tackle the production day, the wedding day? Well, in my opinion, you should always arrive there as the bride is getting ready. Not just because you will be getting some of those getting ready shots. Most of the starting ones you probably won't use, but it's nice to give you enough time for you to get organized, set your cameras up, get some establishing shots of the venue, or if it's a different room, of the place that the bride is getting ready, and also gives you enough time to introduce yourself to everyone so that everyone knows what you're there for and who you need to contact or talk to if you need anything doing, such as the bridesmaids or maid of honor, or even the groomsmen or best man. Because the last thing you want to do is to bother the couple on their wedding day. In my opinion, you should leave them to it unless you have a very specific way of filming your wedding film. In my opinion, you should always get either the maid of honor or the best man to give you a hand in setting up the shots and getting everyone together, or assisting you with anything that you need. And so far, it's been working pretty well for me. And if you've seen any of my wedding films, you know that I try as much as I can to be authentic with what actually happened in a day. I don't like to artificially add segments if they didn't exist, so I always try to approach it from a storyteller's point of view, where you start with the bride and groom getting ready, you then have the ceremony, the speeches, reception, first dance, cake cutting, and I normally tend to leave just after the party starts, after getting some of those party shots. And because I want to be as authentic as possible, unless it's winter, I never carry with me any extra lights or anything like that. Because in my opinion, there's no worse thing than being on a dance floor with massive video lights pointing at you, taking away from the wedding experience. At the end of the day, this is about the couple, it's not about you. So you need to serve them as best as you can. But that's lighting out of the way. Now let's get into the nitty-gritty of audio and also filming formats. As I said, I approach the wedding day as a documentary, so I tend not to overcomplicate little things. So for my audio, I'll only use the DJI wireless mic, the first generation, and this has been working absolutely fine. Not only do you get wireless audio, because you can put the transmitters inside of the groom's pocket or everyone that's speaking, and you get 2 of them, but you also have an internal recording so that you can have peace of mind that you've gotten everything. Even if there was a little bit of interference between the wireless mic and the transmitter, the internal recording won't have that problem. With time, I will invest in more backup audio, but for now the DJI wireless mic is working absolutely fine. In terms of video, I shoot everything in 50 frames per second just because it gives me that reassurance that I will be able to get what I need in post. So I can either have it at normal timings, which I do tend to have most of the time. I don't like the overused slow motion, but it's nice to film in 50 just in case you need to use it, maybe for some establishing shots or anything like that. If we need to like extend it slightly, then it's nice to have that reassurance. On top of that, I do film in Vlog just because it gives me that extra bit of dynamic range. As I said, I don't lug around any lighting, so it's nice to have that extra bit of dynamic range in case you need it, especially for those really bright or even really dark days. So as soon as the wedding day is out of the way, I get home and I transfer all the files, backed up all the media so that I've got a backup of everything. Plus I also create proxies and synchronize all the audio with the video. So if there's speeches, that gets synchronized straight away. If there's the bits of the ceremony, that also gets synchronized, because what I used to do in the beginning was leave it for maybe 2, 3, 4 days, sometimes even a week, because I do have a 9-to-5 job, being it is a videographer job, but it's not a wedding videographer. So previously I used to leave it maybe a week, and then I would get to the next weekend, and that's when I would start working on a wedding film. But nowadays I start it straight away just because it saves you so much time, and you know that you're going to go into that storyline with everything organized. I also have folders for everything, so all the bits of B-roll. So I've got from the start of preparation to the reception, to the ceremony, everything gets organized in folders, and if you want, I can send that process to you so that you can use the same method. And in this way, it just ensures that you're not looking for things in a messy environment. Everything is in their folder, and then you can translate those folders in the bins in your video editing software, such as Final Cut, like I use, or even Premiere. They all have this function where you can create folders inside the software to then pull out the footage that you need. Because I do find that when you're looking for things and then you don't find what you need, you kind of get out of that flow, and it becomes very stressful because you are sure that you shot that particular scene, but you can't find it in your massive folder of all the files. So it's always nice to have everything organized with specific categories for every part of the day. So you can just pick one up, bring it into your timeline, and you're done. Another thing that I do to keep things organized, because I do offer a package where they get everything sent individually, and so therefore I create a timeline for the speeches, a timeline for the ceremony, a timeline for the movie itself, and for any other bits that I find necessary. This way it just keeps everything segmented, and then you can bring everything together on the movie timeline. From there, once all the timelines are ready and I've created the rough cut for the film, I do go over the color grading. And this I tend not to do much about, just because I want to keep it simple. Like I said, I want to keep it authentic. I want to make it look cinematic, so I do have a timeline that's in a 2:39 aspect ratio, which is a wide cinema aspect ratio. For some reason that just feels good to me, I don't know why. But when it comes to color grading, I keep it quite simple. I use a normal transform LUT that transforms my Vlog to Rec 709. Then I do some basic exposure adjustments. Once that's done, I do use a color curves. I do improve the saturation on the midtones. Once that is done, I do also add some sharpness. I use a LUT that's called Cat Iris from MLUT, and it's by far one of my favorite LUTs. It's not very in your face, and I always drag it off a little bit to maybe 60 or 70% so that you don't get that over-saturated look. And on top of that, I use the halation filter on Film Convert's LUT as well, just to give it that extra filmic look. Again, if you do want me to go over my color grading process in a little bit more detail, then do leave me a comment below and I'll make a video all about that. It's quite straightforward, there's not much to it, but it does make a big difference. Once that is done, it's time to export. I export all the timelines individually, and when it comes to sending the wedding film to the couples, I send it in 2 different ways. I send it digitally so that they can have it as soon as possible, but I also send it in a gift box so that they do feel that they've gotten something physical, because it's such an important day and it's such a nice investment that it's nice that you get something physical with it. But that's it. That's a brief look at my step-by-step guide into how I organize my wedding film workflow. And the most important here is that word, keeping yourself organized, having a structure that you follow, having some things in place, some checklists that you follow so that you can keep yourself organized. In this way, you are ensuring that you are being efficient, that you're not leaving anything behind, that you're not missing any key moments, and perhaps most importantly, that you tackle the wedding day feeling confident, because when you do feel confident, you will overcome anything that comes your way. So make sure that you have a process that works for you. Maybe take some of these key ideas, maybe go and watch another video and get some more ideas, because what works for me might not work for you. And the most important thing, like I said, is being confident about what you're doing. If you're confident, you'll achieve anything. But did I miss anything? Obviously, I've only been doing this for 2 years, so if you do have any key suggestions, leave them down in the comments below, because they will also help the community that's watching this. And if you find anything of value in this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel, because it helps immensely. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.